A
Right.
month away from your fight, but firstly, I wanted to ask, how's things today? You doing good?
Excellent. Vegas is it's sunny, it's fun, it's challenging. It's a great environment to be in for a training camp. So I'm happy.
Mm. And something I wanted to talk about is I was just doing a bit of reading about this fight and the press conference you had with Liam, and something you said that interested me was that you sort of enjoyed being dropped because it was a new experience. And I was wondering about this. Did you really enjoy that? I know it's a new experience, but no one wants to be dropped, surely, or is that honestly how you feel?
Yeah. I mean, imagine being in a sport your entire life since you was a kid and something happens to you at 33 years old that's never happened to you before. It was exciting. It was a huge adrenaline rush. And I was able to show a side of me that no one's ever seen before. You know, when a lot of fighters when they get hurt, a lot of times they're looking for ways out. You know, they show their true colors. I showed who I was as a man and as a fighter. I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to overcome. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. I always knew that that's what I was about. That's who I was as a fighter. But to be able to show that to the people was, yeah, I guess I enjoyed it. Not to, but that is also, um, it's also something that now that I know can happen because I didn't think it could happen to me. I never really thought about, being stopped in a fight. I never thought that could happen to me. But now that I know that it can happen, you know, you have to learn from these experiences. You have to adapt. You have to, yeah, you have to grow as a fighter. And being put through that, it definitely gives you a new perspective on things and makes you prepare in different ways. So yeah, it's interesting.
Mm. I know he won't be in the corner for this one, I believe, but something you sort of joked but sort of serious about is when you said to Roy to not bring a towel for your future fights, and it was a bit reminiscent for me for when Wilder fought Fury and the same thing happened with him, and he said exactly what you said. He doesn't want it. Is there not a part of you that sort of recognizes your coaches are putting your safety first, or does your sort of pride as a fighter take over that?
Some fighters need a safety net. Some fighters need to be saved. I'm not that fighter. I've been through too much. I've done too much. Um, if I can't go on, then you guys will see it. Um, if I'm on my feet, demanding that the fight continues, let it continue. I don't need a referee or a towel to be thrown in. Um, I'm getting paid too much to take the easy way out if the going gets tough.
And just touching on what I was saying about Roy not being in your corner, I believe Bomac, Terrence's trainer, is going to be in your corner, and I'm not sure if Roy has any involvement or David Hay does or Ronnie. So can you talk to me about your coaching decisions for this fight?
Yeah, for the camp, it's Bomac and his team. They had a great result over the weekend, so the morale is high, the momentum is there, and we were straight into the gym the next day. Um, Roy won't be a part of the team for this fight. He said he's got other obligations. Um, so yeah, we have a new team, and I'm excited.
What do you think the differences in yourself and the differences with a new coach like Bomac that you can make to sort of make the adjustments to get the win over Liam is?
I mean, Coach Bomac is a completely different style of training to Roy, but it's effective. It's proven. The proof is in the pudding. We saw what happened over the weekend. So I trust this guy. I trust his team. I trust in the things that he's telling me. They do work. Um, I just have to listen and implement, and that is what I'm doing.
I don't believe you've worked with Bomac before. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but even if you have, we're what, a month away from the fight. Do you think that's enough time to sort of make the necessary adjustments with a new trainer, or is that not really something you're focused on?
They're not going to change me as a fighter in a month's time, but they're gonna build the foundations I already know what I need to do to beat Liam. You know, I don't. You know, if I didn't have any trainer, I still know what I would need to do to beat him. But to have this world-class team behind me as a support system, giving me the knowledge and everything, it's a big deal. And you know, this is going to be the start of something great, I think.
What were your thoughts on Liam saying that he was almost surprised that you went down with the shots that you did? It was a combination when you were up against the rope. It wasn't like it was one big shot, and he almost took himself by surprise. Does that surprise you as well? The fact that you sort of went down from that watching the fight back or not?
Um, you know, does it surprise me? Yeah, yeah, it did surprise me. But that's boxing. You never know what's going to happen until it happens. My job now is to learn from those mistakes, um, and to make sure it never happens again. You know, I was dominating the fight. I battered him in the third round. Like, I think that I got complacent. I gave him the opening to do what he did. Um, you know, he's not a better fighter than me. I showed that in the first 3 rounds, but you know, he was able to do what he did, and now I have to make sure that I right that wrong, avenge that loss, so I can move forward.
Just touched on that, like you said. It wasn't like, a loss where you completely outclassed over the whole fight. Was it tougher to take because of that? Especially like you said, you had success in the third round, and then that happens. Was it a bitter pill to swallow given the nature of the defeat?
No, it was easier to take. If I got battered for 3 rounds and then knocked out, that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, when you're beating a guy up and then he catches you, um, I can accept it. I understand it. It happens. It's boxing. Anything can happen. Um, you know, I've just got to make sure that I don't give him any chances this next time. Um, you know, I wanted to continue. I felt like I could have overcome the adversity. Um, I felt like the referee took that away from me, but it is what it is. We're going to get a second shot at it in a few weeks' time.
I wanted to also ask. It was kind of announced a couple of days ago that Conor Benn had been cleared by UKAD. I know it's not the BBOC are looking into it, but what are your thoughts on him being cleared by UKAD and both the WBC?
Um, I guess it's a good thing because now the fight can be made at some point, which it will. Um, you know, I don't know when, but it will happen at some point in the UK, which is important. It should happen in the UK. There was a lot of talks about it happening in the Middle East, and that was something I didn't really want to do because it's such a huge fight out here, and you know it should be in England. Um, but you know, being a court, you know, lawyers and court hearings and essays and Eddie Hearn saying all the things he's saying, it doesn't mean anything. You know, the fact is you got caught twice, and no one's ever going to forget it. It doesn't mean that you didn't do what you did, because you did do it. You know, so if you want to say, oh, well, I'm absolved, and you know, it was all a big misunderstanding. No, it's bullshit. You know, but it's a business. Boxing's a business, and I still want to fight him. So, you know, the fight will be made at some point.
Hmm. And finally, I just wanted to get two predictions from you on a fight coming up this Saturday and a big rematch, another domestic rematch in the UK. We've got Anthony Joshua against Dillian Whyte, and of course, a man who has mentioned your name and you mentioned his name, Jake Paul against Nate Diaz. What are your predictions for those two fights, starting with Jake against Nate?
Um, Jake Paul against Nate Diaz. It's a very interesting fight. I don't think that Nate has any experience in boxing, so I think it's going to be tough for him to win. I saw some clips of him sparring online. It didn't look good. So I mean, just off of that, I would say that Jake Paul probably has a good chance of winning. Um, Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte, great rematch. The first fight was exciting. Um, I think Anthony will do the job again. Too big, too strong, and you know he's got a lot to prove after his last fight. I think he's a man on a mission, as am I.